So once again, he says, if Yikaven Lahamshech Salam the Nair the Neranki the Ruach. So Ruach is all going with the Vok, that idea. He said, Im Mochen the Yanika the Abba, but here we're talking about the Kaddish of Abba, Shehem Gimel Elokim, once again, the Lufashi Benai, Yisod, Odif, who Shakai, and I can't figure out with this phrase, Odif, there's an additional part, which is the name Shakai, which he has in a Milui form, Gematria is Kaddish, and it comes to the same Gematria. And then he has something else which is not so easy for me. He says the parts of Nai v'chagat the chagat the za. Now before we were talking about the Nai and the chagat, the vok. So exactly that would be the vok of za. And he says, what is this? The Nai v'chagat the chagat the za. He says, Shehem Erik Anpin v'nuk v'Yisrael Sav v'nuk anikra zer Anpin. So I can't figure out what that means. I don't have any background for that. The Heichel Kachi Kachim may come from the Heichel Kachi Kachim. The Rasiya Dezah, the Atzilus, but the Rasiya Tachtaina. So, again, the Rasiya Dezah, the Atzilus, and then the template is like a template, but this other part where he talks about that the Nai V'chagat Chagat is the same thing as the Erik Anpin and his Nuk and Yisrosav and his Nuk. I just don't get how they go together. One more, that's it. So here we see, we're going to go to another pair. The pair is going to go the same way. It's going to be Shmei and Rabbah. We're just going to be the Shmei side. Yikaven lahamshech tzalim the nefesh, the mochin, the iver, the ima, shehem yak. Tzalim, the nefesh, the mochin, the iber. So this is the really lowest part, which are Yud K. Now I'm assuming maybe he means Yud K are the last two letters of Ekya. I'm not sure what he meant there. Yud K, the call Shem Elokim Mochin the Ima. Now there is a Yud K in the name Elokim, but I don't have anything to ever seen that Yud K of Elokim, which is what he says. The call Shem Elokim Mochin the Ima, which are Mochin that are coming out of Ima. So anyway, if you look at it, now he changed the language where he says in the top he says Shemei. Yikaven lahamshech, you have kavanah lahamshech, the tzalim, the nefesh. So down here he calls it, he has a different name. He calls it the neranchi, the nefesh. So it's all neranchi, the nefesh. And what you have down here is really the neranchi. You have the lights on the top, that's the keser, and then going down, all the way down to Yisod. And what's inside of them, I guess he's saying, is an Elokim, are these three Elokims. He doesn't say like the whole Vasha, like he said in the other side. So he says, and it's going to go to the parts of Nai, the Vok. So once again, so he's making the Vok into a parts of, and he's saying, well, let's look at the bottom part of it. Shehem Yaakov Arachel and Nikra Vok, which we said that before. The Zer Anpin, the Rasiya, the Tzilus, it's of the Yasiya, the Zer Anpin of the Yasiya, this is lots of Zer Anpins, the Yasiya, the Zer Anpin, the Tzilus, but the Rasiya Tachtaina, and the lower Yasiya. Okay, that's all I wanted to do. I just want to familiarize us a little bit with where he's going over there, because he has to get back to, somewhere along the line here, we have to get back to the principles that he's been talking about, of the illumination coming from, in this particular Kaddish, coming from, well, we'll see where it comes from Bina, and then if it comes through Yetzirah, it eventually shines on the Gar of Asiya. That's what he was talking about. Let me see what I got here. Oh, well, here we go. Okay, where we got to last time was on number Kuf Bet. Yeah, so let's read Kuf Bet, here it is. So he says, the Tzarik Lahavin and Maimer Hazeh. So you have to understand this Maimer that we're talking about. What is it? He said, excuse me, where am I? B'masha Kasa B'shah Eser Sphira Shal Olam Habriyah. Hashesh Bedrego Shel Hakise. Now maybe this goes along with some of what we saw there. I'm not sure. They really represent. Let's see. His words are. He says the 10 spheros of Olam Habriyah. They're actually 10 steps. They're actually, 5 steps Shel Hakise that go to the throne. Im arba haraglayim Shel Hakise, all together with the 4 legs of the. It's a chair with 4 legs. So Habishim Bechinas Esif Spheros Heim. Haragil v'hadargim. That's Raglayim. I'm sorry, Haraglayim v'hadargim. So we're talking about the legs and the steps. Ki im achein ne'emar shaha eses sfiru shal olam habriyah hein siru shal hashesh medregos v'ha'arba raglim shal hakise. That gives you 10. Im kain. If that's the case, a kisei atzva, talking about the kisei. Mihu. What is the kisei then? If the legs and the steps are 10, so azai yekshach b'dekevin shekabor nishlama b'esav spiros im kain ma he bechinas hakisei atzma. What's the kisei? Okay, I'm gonna call him back. We got a little. Okay, get over here. Okay, I think we're on number Kuf Hey. Aval Indian who the Indian is like this. He has shis darken the kursia heim shisha hechalos. So he has this. So they're residences of some sort. So he says the palaces. Achabir Indian who ki hashesh bedrego sheyesh the kisei heim romazos al shisha hechalos shal olam habriyah. So it's a remiss to that. So he says, what? The Sheish Medregos Shel Hakise, the 6 steps. He said, B'sheyesh min libnas asapir, so we know about this. She'eda hashisha hechelos ma'aschilin milamad rabin hechel libnas asapir. So they go down there. Shu hayisod shel Olam Habriyah, which is the yisod of Olam Habriyah. Other places it says it's also malchus of the sod of Olam Habriyah. Ad Heichel Aratzon, until you reach the Heichel Aratzon. Ad the Mala Shuhu Heichel Aratzon Shuhu HaTeferes, which is Teferes, so it goes like that. Umasha HaTeferes Elyon Min HaChesed. Why would that be? He said, Hu Mishum Sheba Olam Habriyah HaTeferes Hu Lamala Min HaChesed V'hu Ba'ofen Zeh. I don't think I ever heard this exactly. So let's see what he says. He says, it goes like this. Echad heichel avara b'shuhu b'chesed. So heichel halva is in chesed. Heichel zechos shuhu b'gevura. Heichel aratzon shuhu b'tferes. Heichel noga shuhu b'netzach b'netzach. Heichel atzma etzem hashemayim shuhu b'hod. And then the 6th one is heichel livnas asaper shuhu b'yisod v'ramalchus. That's going downwards. The top of the Eilah, now where you're talking the company from the bottom to the top, but Seder hu milamata, really the Seder starts at the bottom. The Haida bim min spheres yisod, v'ad heichel the ratzon, shu ha'elyon min shisha heichelos. Let's see, I lost this. So he says, Kuftes, he says, Arba Raglim the Kursia, now those 4 feet, what are we talking about? The legs of the chair. Arba Raglim shel the kisei. Heim arba hechelos sheyesh behechel kodei kedoshim. Actually, they're in one. They're all 4 of them. They were in only one. Heim miramazem al arba hechelos sheyesh behechel hashvi hanikra chelu kodei kedoshim. So those are the first 6. Then there's the 7th one. But the 7th one has all of this. Let's go on. V'zera behechel atzva. This say hechel. He said of the nikra arba raglim the kursia. That this last one is called the 4 feet. That's a little bit interesting because the kisei normally has, first you have, I guess you would have the legs would be, okay, I'm just trying to figure out when the legs would come in. Nikra arba rag, then the course is, so it's called the 4 legs of the throne. Sheyesh lo arba hechelos, because it has, within that one hechel, kodesh kedashim, there are 4. V'hu abachinach nikras arba raglim the kisei. So now you have a completion of the 10 spheros of Bria. Uvazos in this way, Nishlavucha be'etzis sphira sheyesh ba'olam habriyah, you complete them. Shehem hashesh medregas v'arba raglim shal the kisei. So the kisei doesn't fit just into the on top of the medregos. It actually has legs that go into them. That's what he says. Amnam inyan the kisei, but we see like this: the inyan the kisei v'ata Rav b'var mahu inyan the kisei atzmo. Haidar Moshe al the kisei atzmo. Okay. Who inyan shlosha oros shanim shachim v'yorder b'min ima. Now, what is this? He says these 4 legs are actually three oros. A kisei atzmo hisha yordim the mata. So he says the kisei itself is what goes down. Olam Habriyah shlosha mini oros. So as they're coming down, they have 3 different kinds of lights. Min anai the ima the tzilus, and it all comes from the nai of ima the tzilus. The mekana the bekursia that she sets up her nest, I guess, so to speak, with shlosha spheros in 3 with using 3 spheros, kenisker v'tikunim, and that's mentioned up above. So he said the ima yeredis v'shokenes ba'olam habriyah. She goes down, she dwells in Olam Habriyah. The Bishlosha Spheros Shalom, with her 3 spirits, the Sirah which are her 9. So he said, what against? He says, the Ima, that is, I guess you're talking about Tavuna, Bishlosha Spheros Shalom, Shehem Anai Shabbat. V'osam HaShlosha Oros, V'elach HaShlosha Oros, Shal Anai, the Ima, the Tzilus, V'chayordin, the Olam Habriyah. He says, Heim Nishmas Habriyah, the Penemited Bria, Kasher Behem Yordan the Bria, Heim the Azim, Bechinda the Shama, Olam Habriyah, Bechem the Nekroim Kisei Hakavod. Ve'elach HaOrah shall nai the Ima, Behi Yosef Ba'olam Habriyah, he's answering, he says, where's the Kisei Hakavod? Heim Nekroim Kisei Hakavod. Bechem Nekroim Kodesh Gadashim, they're also called by that name. Number Kuf Kof Aleph, he says, a Kodesh Chad Gadashim train, Atlas. Of the Heichel Kodesh Gadashim, Merumazim HaShlosha Oros Shehem Nai De'ima, Keven Shekodesh, Hu Lashon Yochid, V'hu Remez Al Or Echad Min Anai, V'kava Gadashim, Heim Lashon Rabim, V'heim Shnei Oros Min Anai De'ima, so now you have 3, V'yachtav Heim Shlosha Oros Anai De'ima. V'ela Shlosha Oros and Nizkarim. So now when we're talking about these 3, let's see what I got here. 1 second. So, let's see, where was I? It says, over Heichel Kodesh Gadashim, Ramazim, Shlosha Oros, Shehem Nai De'ima. Let's go down the next one. Vela Shlosha Oros on Nizkarim. So he says, that are coming from the Nai of Ima, Nikroim Kodesh Gadashim, they're called by that name. That's what I said. Shehem Nikroim Kodesh Gadashim, okay. Mekana the Mitzlavsha, Mizlavsha, Bezerah, Heichel Elyon de Bria. Heim Yordim, I guess we did all of this. So then the Heim Yordim with Levusha, Be'echel Elyon Shel Olam Habriyah. Hakolo Arba Hechelim Besocha, that has actually 4 Hechelos inside of it. Shezeha Hechel Elyon, She'elin Elyon, She'elin Shalom, Yordim, Oros, Anai, the Ima, the Tzilos, that's where the lights of the Nai of Ima come down. So he says there's 3 lights, but they have within them 4 hechelos. The kurs that's called the 4 legs of the throne. They're called the 4 legs of the throne. Valkain Kevin Sha'oros Anai the Ima Yordan the Mislavshin Behechel Elyon Shalom Habriyah. He said, Nikra Hechel El go to Gadashim, because it's okay. Why? So let's go on. He said, Ron Saloma wants to say like this: Behechel Shabo, Shehechel Shabo Mislavshim Shlosha Oros Elyona, that Hechel, Kevin Shebehechel Elyon Shalabriya Mislavshim Shlosha Oros Elyona denied the Ima. I guess it's just repeating. And Nikra Kodesh Gadashim, and now has this name. Ve'edach of Shlosha Oros Elyonim shehem denying the Ima Nikroim Kodesh Gadashim, but the Chein Gam HaHechel Elyon Shel Olam Habriyah Nikra Kodesh Gadashim Al Shemam. So we try to tie them like that. So then it's going to have the same name because it's going to be one with them. I guess it's going to join with them. The Hybrid is Bayer. Now we're saying like this. We explain. Ki Olam Habriyah Atzma. When we talk about Olam Habriyah itself, who Eser Hechelos in his Karim, it actually represents 10 Hechelos. The Hybrid is Bayer Sha Olam Habriyah Atzma. So we now explain. Kolo Eser Hechelos. It has actually 10. Shehim Sheish Bedregos Akise. V'Arba Ragdi Akise. So he said about Shlosha Oros Al Yonim, the 3 that are on the top, are Shlosha Oros Al Yonim, Shehema Oros Shal Nai De'ima, which are actually inside of Bria. Shehim Neshama Lachem, becomes a Neshama for them. Hema Nekroim Kisei, that's what's called the throne. Oros Al Lucha Behema Nekroim Kisei Atzma, they themselves are called the Kisei. V'Hara Echa Bria Hi Asara. So now we see how we can get to this number 10. V'namsinim lamdem hecha bria he aser spheros etc. V'hi shlosha aser. So it actually comes out to be 13. V'chein he gam yud gimel. Why? Al yedei shemitzarfim el ha'eser spheros de bria, because we add on to the 10 spheres of bria. Esa shlosha oros shalanai de'ima, we add that onto it, so that's on top of it, besides the nai of ima in being inside of them, then the oros that are there, they're also coming in. Hayordim is lavshim be'echel elyon debria, which comes in there too. Vehem nekrayim akise azba, and they are called the kise itself. Now, I didn't really quite follow where he got here. I just want to read it one more time. He said, V'chein ki gam yud gimel. He said, now comes to that, al yedei shemitzarfim el ha'eser spheres the bria, as a shlosha oros shalanai de'ima. Now, I thought that, what is he talking about before? He's talking about the nai of ima was holding, what? Elokems? We're talking about Elokems here, I'm not sure. Is holding the ima. Hayordan and mislavshin be'echel elyon the bria, they go down there, v'hem nekroim akise atzma, v'habin heitev kol zez, that should really try to understand this. Wants to bless us with that. Shenabin is also. V'hinera ve'elo ha'arba hechelos. So when we talk about these 4 hechelos here, v'zeh ha'echel elyon the bria, we talk about that. He says, nikra arba raglim, the course here, that are called by that name. Halo heim keser chochma bina das. There actually represents the 3 mochi. So he says that they're actually keser chochma bina and das. So he says, what do you have? This as well. It's not exactly the Olam Habriyah. The arbach behechelos and nekroim arbach ragler. You see that part? Heim arbach spheros kachba the Olam Habriyah. They become the top part of Olam Habriyah. And these 4 Rishonos to Bria, the Betoch Arbach Spheres Elyon Shebe'echel Elyon Shehem Kachba the Olam Habriyah Mizlavish Bechinas Akise Nisker. That's where you see this is clothed in there. The Kise is in there. Behem Nice Bechinas Akise Atzmo Shehi Kol Shlosha Orish, which has these 3 lights in it. Sha'akise antmo hu al shlosha oros denai de'ima de'tzilos shehem sod ima ilo mekanada bekorsia kenisker. So the v'zera v'sod mashin is boyer b'tikunim v'zocher she'ima ilo mekanada bekorsia, that she's actually setting up our nest in the korsia. The Haino she'ima iloah, that ima's iloah, he's talking about who ima shall olam atzilus. Hanai shalom yordim atzilus, that comes down out of atzilus, the olam habriyah. By yedei ima iloah, the atzilus mekana the bekursa. So as she's coming down, so therefore she sets up a place for herself. He says mekana the bekursa. She olam habriyah, which is the kursia, he says, is in olam habriyah, so she made a place for herself. So let's read a little bit more. He says, "V'zeh inyanim v'atach v'var harav heich yordim ha'orez shal olam ha'atzilus mitzlavshem b'kisei atzmo the olam habriyah." How do they go down? Kel malchus al yodet atzilus, because the upper malchus. So he says, "Harav mechanech as a malchus the olam ha'atzilus v'shem malchus al yonim." Now he's calling it the malchus al yonim. The he yos ba'olam atzilus, because it's coming from atzilus. Who yos b'chayonach and b'cholam b'yitzir nesiyah. He's so daled kanot. It's the secret of the number 4. He said, what does that mean? V'chatam V'chatam shal malchus is called 4. Who the feet shir kumasel, who arbet spheres the zer anpin is the 4 spheres of zer anpin. Who mishum shir kumasel b'shachal malchus, who connected arbet spheres shal zer anpin. V'techein malchus nikros os dalet. L'moz shehi omedes connected shir dalet spheres shal zer anpin. I guess he means the tani, the tani. Okay, so we got one more to do. He says Shehem Teferis, and that's a Hod Yisod Knisk with the Ale. Ve'edol Arba Spheres Shal Zer Anpin. Shal Malchus Umedis B'Keneg them. The Malchus stands, so she corresponds to them opposite. Hem Tanhi Deza. Okay, that's the Tani Deza. V'Chanok Umedis B'Kol Kumal Sech B'Ach Atani Deza. That's where she stands, and that's what's going to be it for today. Thank you.